y'all. Welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 7, and I am Jason, owner of Outdoor Legacy Gear. And as always, I've got my co-host Hans from the HansETX YouTube channel. Hey, Hans.
Hey, Jason, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going good.
Yeah, heck yeah. It's going good for me too, because I'm telling you, you sent me the brand new Pulsar LRF unit, and I've been demoing it, and I got a chance to shoot a hog with it last night. And man, I was really pleased with it. And I know that you just put out a review video for it recently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's interested in that, we're talking about the Pulsar Trail laser rangefinder unit. This is a not yet released thermal optic from Pulsar. It is going to be the first consumer thermal rifle scope that has a built-in laser rangefinder, and should be coming out later this year in 2018. But they do have a couple demo units floating around, and Hans and I have got our hands on one. And I just released a YouTube video this week on that. I did a lot of in the field showing videos, doing reviews while I'm looking through the scope and explaining to you what's going on there. So anyway, if you have any interest in that, you can go to my YouTube channel, Outdoor Legacy Gear, and find that video review there too. But Hans, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw a pretty cool video that you put out last week.
Yeah, I just this past weekend was Father's Day, and I got a chance to go hunting with my oldest daughter, Macy. She's 10 years old, and she goes with me to bait holes. Sometimes she goes with me when I have to take care of a dead hog or something like that, but never really gotten to go out on a hunt and look through a thermal. She's not big enough to really shoot a rifle that's big enough to drop a hog yet. She's shot a 22. She's got a 22 that she shoots from time to time. But she loves to be really anywhere that I am, and if I'm hunting, that's what she wants to do too. So I'm fortunate that she still thinks I'm kind of cool, maybe not real cool, but kind of cool.
A little cool.
She's on that line, on the edge of that line right now.
Yeah.
She's starting to develop, and she's starting to turn into a young lady. There's times when we're about to go to school, and all I have to do is just look at her, and she starts crying. And I look at my wife, and I say, "What just happened?" And she's like, "Well, she's a young girl turning into a teenage girl." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't put up with
for
this."
about 4 years, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh, I know. So she went out on a hunt with me, and we were lucky, man. I took her out 2 nights over Father's Day weekend, and we ended up getting a hog each night. And I tell you, we didn't have to sit out there very long, so it was great. She got to use the FLIR breach to look through and spot for hogs, and she knows exactly what to look for and all that. So we went out and dropped 2 hogs, two lonely boars on 2 different hunts, and she was pumped.
I'm going to tell you something. It was a great video, and no joke, it is one of my favorite videos that you've ever put out. And I just think it was really cool, and she was into it. I mean, you did not drag her along. She loved it.
She's definitely a ham. She's got a great personality, and she stole the show on the video, which I was more than welcome to give her. But she's got some funny one-liners, and she's just kind of quirky right now, with their personality. So it kind of worked out great. But it immediately became my favorite video. It's on the YouTube channel, the HansETX YouTube channel right now, so you can go check that out. It's not very long, but they got a couple of hog hunts in there. I'm using the Trail XP50. She's looking through the FLIR breach, so you get a couple different perspectives when you look at it. But that kind of leads into our topic today, and my concern with releasing a video like that is, and it's a shame that it comes to this, but when I put a video like that, when you involve kids into hunting or anything with guns, is the backlash that I expect to receive on YouTube, on all the other social media platforms about involving a child into the sport of hunting, or involving a child in the education of guns. Mm-hmm. And it's been a big concern of mine for a long time. Jason, I know that you and I talk about this a lot, and this is a subject that we address a lot because of the anti-hunters, the anti-gun people, and how it pertains to social media.
Well, absolutely, because number one, I mean, we talk about it a lot because this is what you are, as a content creator. I mean, you're putting content out there for a a lot of different reasons, but one is entertainment, another is education. You're doing reviews, you're educating people, you're doing, your baiting shows. Videos. So you're doing a lot of stuff that's educational, and again, a lot of the entertainment. My side of it is doing again education reviews, but be honest, it affects my bottom line, or it can at the end of the day. And I'm trying to support a family, and
Hmm.
it's not just me. There's a whole lot of people in the greater hunting and outdoor
Right.
industry, and I think this is one thing where we've gotten used to this, over the last several years when it pertaining to guns. Like, oh
Hmm.
well, we know that the antis don't like gun stuff, but it's hunting, it's guns, it's just really expanded, and it's affecting a lot of people, and the trajectory. And I'm probably going to use that word again. What we're seeing between Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google search, maybe some of the other social platforms that we don't use as much. There is a very scary and negative trajectory towards
Right.
anything hunting or gun related.
Right. And you said, and I think a lot of people view this as a social media issue, and it's like, well, a picture got taken down, and they just kind of say, well, that kind of stinks, and kind of shrug it off and wonder what happened. But like you said, it affects people's livelihood. And you and I talk a bunch about the platform of YouTube. It's one of the best platforms to use for education and for product reviews. A lot of people search YouTube. I do a lot of searches on YouTube that don't pertain to hunting or hog hunting or scopes or rifles. From fixing, household items, anything. You get on there and search and get a great review on something, or how to fix something. So a lot of people are using the YouTube platform
Mm.
to go through and look at outdoor legacy gear, to look at a scope review, or look at HansETX or whoever out there that's doing these scope reviews, in efforts to help them decide on what they want to purchase. And when you and I talk about it, I'm talking about YouTube, and you say, if this gets shut down, this affects me financially and personally. It's not just
Yeah.
a hobby that we like to make videos. That it's going to affect you and your business.
Right, and it's a very big deal. And look, hey, let me back up a step. There's probably a lot of guys listening to this right now and say, "What are you talking about? I can go on
Right.
YouTube right now and watch all your videos. What's the problem?" Well, if you don't know what is happening as we speak, to a lot of guys who are doing the same thing that Hans and I are, is they're getting videos that are either being removed from the channel, or they're getting videos that have been flagged and as some type of violent content, because they're shooting hogs, or they've got, maybe, let's say it like this: the rules don't always make sense. If
Right.
YouTube would just say, these are the rules, follow them, and you're good, but that doesn't happen. They give you the rules, and then they enforce them oddly all the time. So what happens is a video will be flagged, which means somebody's reported it. It can be an
Hmm.
anti-hunter, it can be a competitor, it can be the kid across the street when you're in second grade who still doesn't like you. That gets flagged,
Uh-huh.
and what can happen is you get an age restriction on there, and that means that only people who are over the age of 18 can watch that video. And you might say,
That's right.
well, okay, big deal. What's the problem with that? You're not selling, scopes, and you don't care about the kids. Well, that's not true, because it's not just 18. It means that user has to have a YouTube account
Hmm.
and be logged in and have their age set correctly to make sure that they're old enough. Well, that's a whole lot of steps, because there's a lot of people. I use YouTube all day, multiple times a day, whether I'm looking stuff up for business or personal or entertainment. And a lot of times I'll go to like a video and it'll say, you're not signed in. And I'm like,
Right.
dadgummit. So that's a big issue, because you can't even show up in the search, nothing. And again, that's just an age restriction. There's people who are getting their whole accounts banned, pulled off of YouTube, never to be allowed onto YouTube again in their lifetime to create content. That's a
That's
scary issue.
that's a scary thing. And when you talk about, I've had a video personally that has been put under age restriction, the block of age restriction. And like Jason said, what that means is somebody has to have a YouTube account. They've got to be of 18 years or older. A lot of times when you are searching for whatever the topic of that video it doesn't come up very high in the search results because it's been put under age restriction. And if you say there's a lot of people out there that watch videos that don't have a YouTube account.
Sure.
They just never have taken the time to create a YouTube account. So that's one of the first ways that they can kind of get you. Now, the problem, and you can have age restriction on a video. You can also get a strike, a community strike. You get 3 strikes, and then your account is essentially closed. And the problem is, I think all of us would agree we're okay with some type of guideline or rules. These are the rules, stick to them, and you're good. The problem is that line continually moves. They are not consistently enforced. And the video that I had that was age restricted was, me shooting hogs with a thermal scope with a rifle. I don't show the rifle really at all. It's not gory. I'm not showing the hogs after they're dead or anything. I don't know really what happened. Now you can protest. You can protest that and email them and see if you get a reply back. A lot of times you don't win that, but also if you do that, it gives them an opportunity to go back and look at some of your other videos and to age restrict that. Or the worst is giving you a community strike. And they can do that retroactively. It's not like they give you a warning and say, okay, everything past this point, if you don't meet the guidelines, then you're going to be in trouble. We can give you a strike and then look back 2 or 3 months at a previous video and give you another strike and take you completely down. So with the rules being inconsistently enforced, you have kind of this chaos that's going on right now, Jason, whether it be on Facebook, it's happening on Facebook, it's happening on Instagram, YouTube, where accounts are being completely closed. We know people personally that have had posts erased on Instagram and Facebook for no apparent reason other than it goes against their guidelines or rules. And I'm okay with there being rules, but just let me know what those rules are. Give me a chance to abide by those rules.
Sure.
And don't penalize me retroactively.
Right.
And that's the biggest concern.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Tell me what the rules are. I'll play by those rules. If I break the rules, fine. But you have to enforce the rules across the board and fairly. Here's an example I just pulled up here on my iPad right now. After the Vegas shooting, and the shooter used some sort of a bump stock, and YouTube said they were going to ban any videos with bump stocks, how to make bump stocks, slide fire, the full mill deal. Today, this is, we're in the middle of June, and right now I'm looking at it. The Slide Fire YouTube channel is still up, and these slide fires are actually, there was an announcement, I believe, last week. The ATF is going to rewrite their rules to make bump stocks illegal. They're going to be illegal to own, and so here we go. This is what the liberals wanted, but it's still on YouTube. They said, you can't do this. Don't post these videos. They're still out there. Now, I'm not asking they take these videos down. They don't offend me in the least bit. But the point I'm making is that we don't know what the rules are, and what they say the rules are, they don't enforce them. It makes no sense whatsoever. And we're just talking about YouTube here, but we've seen I think it was last week, I saw somebody that has a popular Instagram account where they post hog and hog hunting videos and pictures, what have you, and they had randomly something banned on there. Same thing, we've seen stuff on Facebook get pulled. So, and I want to take this one step further. We're talking about social media, which is an issue, but the day, I believe the day will come that you're going to go to Google and you're going to go in there and you're going to search for something weapons related, possibly something hunting related, and you won't be able to find that because they're going to ban those searches, or they're going to pull, I'm speculating here, they're going to take shooting, hunting, gun-related websites and say we're just not going to allow those to show up in our search results. So maybe you search
Well,
AR-15,
yeah.
and maybe some Wikipedia article comes up about it, or about how many people are killed with AR-15s of some news article, but they can absolutely control that. And I'll just say one thing, and I'll kick it back to Jans. But I was doing some business one time with an advertising company. This is a couple years ago. One of their employees was a former longtime Google employee, and he had moved out of California back to the South and quit there. And he and I had some great conversations, and he was really interested in my business. And he flat out told me, he said, "I'm going to tell you something." He said, "The day is coming when you are not going to be able to find this stuff on Google." He said they are anti-gun, anti-hunting, and he said they're worth so much money that they don't care about the lost revenue. He said when they just decide they're going to do it, they're going to do it. He goes, it's a drop in the hat to them of what it would really cost them long term.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
Yeah, and it goes back to when you talk about advertising a business or advertising sites on Facebook and on Instagram. Um, when you want to advertise your website or your page, there's a lot of restrictions that come into play with that too. As far as
Yeah.
putting a gun or a hog on there, or if your site's gun related or anything, there's a lot of restrictions, that go against that. Now,
well, hang on. Yeah, outdoor legacy gear. My Facebook page and Instagram page are banned from any advertisements whatsoever on Facebook or Instagram. I
right,
can put, and I don't know why. I mean, I used to be able to 4 years ago, 3 years ago, post stuff on there, and they call it boosting. And you pay whatever, 5, 10, 15, 20, $100, and they put it out there in front of people. And if you don't know it, that's how Facebook
yeah,
and
yeah,
Instagram work for business posts. Even if you already like the page, very often to see those things they post, those companies have boosted that. I am banned with no explanation why, and I can take a picture, and I've tried this. Okay, I can take a picture of the sunset, or not an exaggeration, a picture of a puppy, and they pop up every time I post something on Facebook or Instagram. Would you like to boost this? If you and I go
yeah,
yes, boom, and I've tried it. Puppy, sunset, boost it, and then I get an email in about 2 minutes that says we're sorry. This post advocates the sales of guns or ammunition. I have never sold a gun or ammo. Period.
right.
But it doesn't matter. I'm banned. I've emailed. I've done everything I can do, and nobody will talk to you. Nobody knows anything.
Yeah, and your that's it doesn't even pertain to your business. It's scopes and
Right. Exactly.
thermals and night vision. But here's the thing. With me being a content creator for YouTube, now you cannot link to any type of well, you can, but you're going to get your video taken off and get a strike. But linking to anything ammo related, linking to anything gun related, in my videos, I link to your scopes. But I tell you, and you and I talk about it. There's a concern about that too.
Yeah.
Just linking to scopes. So that's something that we are continually. You and I talk about this probably more than anything else. But the way that the rules are inconsistently enforced, and how it's leading to this concern from a lot of people in our circles, the hunters, the night vision hunters, anybody that's into the outdoors and hunting related is going to be either know somebody that's been affected by this, or they've been affected by this themselves. And it's scary because the last thing we want is our channel to be taken down, or our Facebook page or Instagram page. You know what? Here's the thing, and this is really how I feel. YouTube, they're a company. Like any other company, they can refuse the right to do business with anyone, and I respect that.
I do too.
As somebody that's been around that before, I respect that.
Mhm.
Instagram, Facebook, the same thing. But if you allow us on your social media platforms, and you lay out the guidelines for us, I don't know if we knew what the guidelines were and they were precise. I don't know that anybody would. I mean, yes, we'd have a problem with some of it, but we would stick within the guidelines. Nobody, I don't think, wants to break the rules. But when you have when you get a message saying that your content was blocked or taken down, and all it says is graphic image or whatever, and it's just a hog laying there on the ground, or a night vision video of a hog, that it really just, to me, it seems like whoever, it depends on who sees it at these social media companies as whether it's going to get blocked or not. And that's where the concern is. It depends on who sees it, who reports it, and what action is going to be taken by these companies.
So bringing that back, let's go back a little bit full circle here. Stick with me. So if you're out there and you're not putting videos and pictures up on social media, and you go, you know what, who cares? That doesn't affect me. Well, it probably does affect you, because if you're listening to this podcast, there's nothing that says that one day, whatever podcast host that you're listening to this through, whether you're watching it on YouTube, whether you're listening to it on, Apple or Google Play or any of the other podcast hosting services, they could decide that we're talking about hunting and guns, and they're going to turn it off. So this could literally be turned off. I think that's a ways down the road. I hope that's not going to happen yet. But if you like to watch, hog hunting videos on YouTube or any of the social media platforms, it can happen. If my livelihood is selling night vision and thermal optics, and it is a rarity for me to get someone on the phone who has not watched YouTube and watched videos either in general about thermal hunting or about certain scopes. They've done their research, and maybe they've watched my videos, maybe they watch Hans, maybe they've watched Lone Star Boars, whoever. I mean, there's lots of great guys putting content out. Maybe it's just the average guy, average hunter put a video out. They've seen them all, and so it affects you trying to do your own research. But all right, so this is where I'm going to bring it back around. The bigger issue is when this content, hunting related, gun related, educational, entertainment, is not available, that is going to greatly affect the future of our sport. When kids like Hans's daughter, or when she's 18 years old and her boyfriend, he can't go and watch all this stuff and get entertained and go, man, I wish I could go do that. We're going to lose kids coming into this sport because they're not able to even see it anywhere. And again, I know I'm talking doom and gloom, but I'm talking long term. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But I think it's something we need to be concerned about. And the one thing I didn't mention, I do want to have this caveat, is I am with Hans. I am a constitutional conservative. I believe you should be able to do what you want to do with your business. And if YouTube wants to ban it, let them ban it. Just give me the rules so that we know. So bringing that full circle, Hans, what can we do about it? What is there a solution? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we wanted to bring up the issue with the social media and with anti-hunters too, and that's something we didn't talk about was some of the comments that I get on my videos. Jason, you get comments. We all get them from anti-hunters. I put up a video recently, and I got a comment from I assume it was a guy, but I really couldn't tell by the screen name, but saying that they wished it was me that was shot instead of the hogs, and that doesn't bother me. But the question is, we brought up the problem. The problem is, with the social media and the stigma, how it is going to really affect how our children's raise up in the outdoor world and with hunting, because now if there's a growing stigma against it, it's going to be almost turned into taboo. We don't want that to happen. So, we fight back. We take our kids out to do whatever, but we have the anti-hunters, anti-gun people that get on social media and make bad comments to us. What I do is, it's hard to keep my mouth closed, and especially on social media, it's easy just to lash out. But what I do is I think the worst thing that you can do is respond to a comment on a video. If you put up a video or a picture, somebody makes a very bad comment to you, the worst thing that you can do is escalate that and respond back in a bad way, because that will get a picture pulled or to get a video pulled. I've seen it happen where somebody puts up a video, they get a very nasty comment from somebody that wishes they were dead, and they respond back and call them a name, and that will get reported, and they almost want you to fight them. They want that conflict. They want it to escalate, and that will help them get more ammunition to get your stuff banned. Don't call them a name. Don't call them a politically incorrect name or whatever it is. Make sure, what I do is when I get a comment on anything, I just delete it. If it's really bad, like they wish I was dead or all hunters are dead, I delete it. Now, if there's somebody says, hey, you can't shoot the side of a barn, it's, whatever. But if somebody makes a...
But that goes back to what we're fighting too, is we're fighting amongst ourselves.
Right.
I mean, that gets old too. Well, so back to kind of what we can do as a solution. And we, Hans and I have talked about this. I've talked about this with other hunters. And I'm going to say this, maybe somebody is out there listening or somebody can get this in front of the right people. But I know there's some companies that have gone out right now and they've tried to put together some, new video hosting sites that are gun friendly, that are aimed toward the hunting community. The problem is that number one, it's very, very difficult for them to get a name. It's very difficult for them to have the money to put up front to build a platform that is as user friendly and easy as YouTube and some of these, established social media platforms that are, have just endless pockets. But what I think it's going to take is someone or a group like the NRA and possibly the National Shooting Sports Foundation, who a lot of people don't know who the NSSF is, but that is who puts on the SHOT Show every year. And that is, the membership is made up of essentially everyone who is in the hunting, shooting, and outdoor business. If you own a business in that industry, you should be, if you are a member of the National Shooting Sports Foundation. And again, they put on the SHOT Show, which is the industry show. And I would love to see them get together with the NRA, maybe some other organizations, and say, let's solicit donations. Let's put some of our funding to it. Maybe it takes, the membership, meaning us as businesses, going in and donating to get something up and running. And I think it can be a for-profit. I mean, there is money in YouTube. There's money in social media. And this sounds like a pipe dream, I know. But I would love to see that happen. I'm just afraid that if, Hans and I want to start a video, hunting gun-friendly Second Amendment video sharing service tomorrow, I just don't think that it's ever going to get enough steam to move everyone from YouTube to it. I just don't think it's going to be well known enough. There's a lot of people who are maybe they're older and they're just, they're sitting there, they know YouTube. They go to YouTube. They're not going to run in the circles maybe to even find out about this new service. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be very difficult without some big names and big money behind it.
I tell you, right now, what we're doing though, it's like, with us being on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, it's like a kid wanting to go play on somebody else's playground, and none of those kids want them to play. Right. And so we're playing on somebody else's playground, and they don't want us there. Mm-hmm. So I think eventually, everybody is seeing this. There's been some different things pop up that people are saying that they're going to share content. Really, there's not a platform right now that is easy enough to share for everybody to share content like YouTube, but or Instagram or Facebook. But that, I think, as we see a lot of this come down, I think more people are going to be focused on coming up with a solution for it. And we got to do business, and we got to deal with people that are more friendly to what we're doing out here. But we could go on forever about this, Jason. You and I have so many conversations about this, but we appreciate you tuning in to episode 7. Again, this is about some of the anti stuff that you hear out there with social media. hopefully what you heard from this podcast is, obviously the problem, maybe a little bit of how to handle some of the antis, and really the way that I do that is just ignore and block them, and don't let the conversation escalate, because that's a way to get a bullseye on your back. But we appreciate you tuning in. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at HansETX. On YouTube, you can find me on YouTube at HansETX, or HANSETX. And we have our would invite you to go over and check out our YouTube channel for the Late Night Vision Show, because we're putting up podcasts with videos, and you actually see us talking back and forth, and it's kind of cool. We've gotten quite a few subscribers jump over there and say they really like to watch the podcast on the video, so you can go and check that out on YouTube. And also, please email us if you have questions or topics, suggestions. You can email us at thelatenightvisionshow@gmail.com. And Jason, for you?
You can find me on all the major social media platforms. It's going to be Facebook, Instagram, and the biggest is going to be YouTube. And please go like, subscribe, follow, whatever their code word is for all those different channels.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, whatever it is, just please go do it. Especially
go do that.
Especially YouTube and Instagram right now are really important to me. So I'd be super if you could do that. And we do. We appreciate y'all listening. I want to say, wrapping this tonight, that I hope you don't think it was just, two old codgers over here complaining about, wish it was like when we were kids. We want to get this conversation started, and we want to get it started outside of just people in the business like myself, just people that are creating content like Hans. We want the whole hunting community and hunting family to begin talking about this. Hopefully that somebody can come up with the solution that we can all move towards. So anyway, hopefully it's been educational. And if you've got some great ideas on what we can do, definitely let us know. You can send that email to thelatenightvisionshow@gmail.com, or like Hans already told you, find us on all the social medias. We really appreciate y'all listening, and we hope that you will tune in again next week. So until then, see you all later.